How can I support you today?
I guess I think moving through my business, and I think I've got a lot going on at the moment with getting my online course out there. It's been in the making for quite some time, and it hasn't been until just recently that I've set a date and just have to go with it and launching. The launch part scares me because I feel like there's so many moving pieces to launching an online program. I feel like there's a lot of pressure that I'm putting on myself to make sure that it's done perfectly and in a way that gets the results that I'm after. So there's a bit of fear coming through for me. And then I'm just hosting how it's all going to work, because there's certain community aspect that I really want to drive through the program. However, I'm finding that I haven't landed on the right platform to be able to host that. So I think I'm getting caught up in a lot of the details, the finer details, and not just letting it, flow as it should, as the program itself has come together.
So are you doing everything yourself at the moment, organizing everything?
I am, yes. Yeah. I could definitely look at getting some help and some assistance, but I also want to make sure that I get it right the first time, and then if I do get support, then I can obviously, if I've done it the first time, then I can share them with whoever I need to support me, what I need to get done, and the tasks that need to be achieved. So yeah, it's also an element of me saying, hey, it could be a control thing too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're doing anything the first time, I agree with you. It is important that we hold a lot of it ourselves, because only you know your vision. I mean, only you can see what's in here, and it's our job to kind of take what's in here and create something physical that people can experience and be part of. And before that happens, I agree with you that it can be good and bad to give things away too soon, because if we give it away, it might not look the way that we envisioned it from the beginning. So I do understand that there is a certain amount of focus and the importance of us being there in all those moving parts. So I suppose, yeah, there's that balance, isn't it? Being able to do that, and then making sure that we don't do all of it, but we do those things that are necessary, or those things that are really important for it to become what it is that we're wanting to create.
Yeah, and I think there's also a sense of vulnerability, because part of it is my story and sharing that. And I keep questioning myself, am I ready to share that? Am I ready to actually voice that and share that through a program now? Even though it's in my book, I feel like writing is a different concept to actually talking it and sharing that as well. But yeah, it's also, you're right, having that sense of balance between producing it and to let it flow as well. Yeah.
Have you trialed it, or is it going from vision to consumer straight away, or have you kind of tested these things beforehand?
Yeah, so I'm doing a beta group at the moment. So I've got 2 people that are going through. So I'm testing all the back end of everything, which is really good. And then I'll launch in February. So I do have, people going through it, and which has been, I think that's what made me actually book the February date in as well, knowing that it's going really well. in that space. So, yeah.
So you're happy with how it's turning out with your beta testing?
Yeah, there's certain platforms that that aren't sitting well. Been looking at different, whether Facebook group is the right platform, or whether it's Insight Timer or other kind of platforms like Mighty Networks. I know everyone has the Facebook, and it seems to be working well, but for me, it just hasn't been resonating with my vibe, with the way that I want the program to roll. So I think it's just detaching myself from that as well, and just, it could evolve further down the track, but just at least get it out there, and I can, I guess, finesse it as I go.
Absolutely. So you're launching it in February.
Yeah.
So what do you feel is not working right now? Is there anything, or are you feeling like you're moving in the right direction?
I'm moving in the right direction. It's just a little bit slower than I anticipated. I think I had this expectation of, once I launched the book, that I'd be able to do the program, and I'd launch the program around this time. But yeah, it's just taken, obviously, until February, and I'm not caught up in timeframes or anything per se, but it's affecting cash flow, it's affecting financial aspects of the business, it's affecting my morale, because I'm not actually being seen doing something and moving forward per se. It's almost like sitting in that kind of limbo space. But my purpose is so strong, which is really good, because there's been multiple times that I just want to quit. But it's this deep motivation that I keep connecting myself to my purpose, and I keep coming back to that each morning in my meditations and everything. So, it's been this long-term goal. So I guess timeframes aren't such a biggie when I look at the big picture. So,
yeah. I hear you saying that. I love your cognitive brain's going, it is okay to not, it's to be a little bit late. Like telling ourselves that it's okay to take a little bit of extra time. Would you say that you're a high achiever?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was always achieving through school. I was a sports captain. I was, always a swimming captain. I was always achieving, especially through university as well, other achievements and everything. So definitely a high achiever.
I can relate to that. It's especially when we have a vision and an idea, and we know what we're wanting to create. It can be frustrating sometimes to have to wait, or to that things take a little bit longer, or whatever it is, because we just want to kind of get there and create something really fast. Is that something you can relate to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've had a lot of, I guess, perfectionism as well that's coming through. So it doesn't look right. I'm not ready to kind of put that out into the world just yet. That's not a true reflection of me. Whereas I'm getting caught up in a lot of the minutia of everything too. So definitely all those elements come into play.
Yeah. So you said something about perfectionism. I mean, we often look at perfectionism as negative, right? That it's something that, however, it's serving us as well, isn't it? There's a part of us that knows how we want to create something, and we know how we want it to look. It's just learning where the line is of, going too far, or forcing ourselves to create something so perfect that we actually procrastinate sometimes, instead of moving forward, because it needs to be in this particular way.
Yeah, definitely. And perfectionism has come through in a lot of elements of my life, and particularly now kind of going into the business mode as well, like perfectionism. And you mentioned procrastination. I've been doing a lot of procrastination, and that's coming in the form of eating. Like I seem to binge eat on certain things and then kind of go into this well of, oh gosh, like, why was I eating? Okay, it was because I was procrastinating, because I don't want to do this, because it's not perfect, because I don't want to put it out there. And it's like this little whirlpool that I'm being caught up in as well. So
I'm curious, right? I can see that I like that you did this. It's like this kind of spiral. And what normally happens is, because you did a big spiral and then it went smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm curious, what's underneath the layer of the procrastination? You said procrastination, a binge eat or eat something. And then I know that eating has got to do with me procrastinating because really there's something that I should be doing, but I'm not kind of doing it. What's underneath that part? What's in under that layer?
Being seen, being and putting something out there that knows that if it's not going to have the impact that it has on me, and if I don't want to put anything wrong out there too, so I don't want to be seen putting something wrong out into the world. So there's an element there that says, is this the right? I keep questioning myself, and it's whether does it have the impact that I think it does? Will it have the impact that I want it to have? So there's lots of elements, I guess, around self-worth and confidence that are sitting at that bottom under that layer too.
Yeah. So is it right or is it wrong? What would make it wrong?
If it had a negative impact, if it was seen in a way that like, look at me, this is what I've done, this is how you do it, and follow my procedure, and they follow that, but it just doesn't feel right to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't get caught up with the wrong, because I feel like I know that people that are going to come into the program are going to be at that right level, and I'll only be able to help those people that come into that program. I feel I'll only be attracting those people. Like, I won't be attracting the other people.
So what if someone says, wow, this is not for me?
I'm going to take it by heart. I'm sure I'll probably be upset, but I also need to have that awareness that it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But it's still going to be a stab to the heart too. Because, when I come back to my purpose, it's like helping, raise consciousness and awareness, with women, and knowing that program elevates that and helps that, and knowing that might not help that person, that could be, something I could take on for sure. I know I can't control that though.
Yeah. And it's interesting, this right and wrong, because we might have somebody in there, someone doing your program that feels like it's not right for them. It feels not right and feels wrong for them. And it might be the best feeling that they need that right there and then, in order to create what's right for them in the future. As in, the wrongness of being in the wrong place at the wrong time can get you to the right place at the right time.
That's true. Very true. I like that. I love that analogy. It gives me that peace of mind.
Yeah, because we don't know what they need. We've got no idea why they come to you. They come to reach you. They might have an idea that they're going to receive something, and if they don't receive that, they might be disappointed because they thought they were going to receive something, and it might feel wrong that they've done the course or that they've signed up for it, but it might be completely right. That might be perfect.
Yeah,
It's not about you.
it's true. Yeah. Thank you. That's yeah, given me some clarity, and I guess feeling a lot more calm about, yeah, helping others and making that impact and connecting with my purpose and putting that program out there.
Because the thing is, if we try and make it right, what's right for somebody is the wrong thing for somebody else. It's impossible to make it right for everybody, even the people that come to us. It's pretty much impossible. They come with their own backpack of their past and their experiences and their perception, and they'll have an idea of what they're wanting from whatever they think that we are giving them, but all we're doing really is showing them another way of seeing and of being, and it's up to them at the end of the day to create whatever they want to create from that place.
That's so true. And I think if they come in with the intention to open their heart and to be open up to a new perspective and to take all the pieces that they want from it and put it in that backpack to help release some of that weight in that backpack or put it back in, you're right. It's this, it's the intention and the way that they'll come into that program will determine whether I can help them or not. Cool. I like it. Thank you.
So, and it's interesting too with this idea of helping, because we are helpers, right? We're in a profession where we support people when we help people. And at the same time, it's the total opposite of what we're doing. Because for it to be helpful, the best place to be is in a place of not helping, but just holding the space for somebody to figure it out, right? So that's what we're creating, isn't it? Like, that's what you're creating with your program, the space. You're holding that space for your people to figure it out, to find themselves, to fit into the next chapter of their life. And yeah, we are helping by holding that space, but they're the ones that step up to the plate, because if they don't, then we become the helpers. So we continuously I need to help you. I need to make sure that you understand this. I need to tell you that this is the way to look at life. And then we fall into that sort of trap of being the helpers when we're just holding the space for them to step into being the helper of their own life.
Yeah, I love that. You're right. It's like this container, and without their 100% responsibility for them to take ownership and take those steps, but be there to, I've got this picture of like a container and just holding them down there, like in their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? How we do that is we do our work, right? We practice, we become as pure as we can within ourselves to be able to have no judgment, no expectations, right?
Yes.
That can be a big one, because often we have expectations, and it sounds like the expectations is about our clients, but it's about ourselves, because I'm expecting them to have transformation, because otherwise I will feel like I have not done enough.
Yes.
So we fix the not enoughness instead of the execution of what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And the way that I've been, one thing that I've found to help with that is, because I've got 2 young children, is kind of sitting in that playfulness part So I find it very hard to switch off from work and not to like worry, obviously, about the future and what's going to happen with the program, what's going to happen with the business, and how it's going to look. I find it really hard switching off and from that. But I've found that with my 2 young children, I've been sitting in play with them and playing with them with toys and playing on the trampoline, lying on the ground, watching the clouds go by. And that level of playness has brought this level of flow back in, and this lightness that I was missing when I was getting bogged down with, what I need to do. And it's really connecting me back to why I've done it and how I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it is such a unique process, and that I'm really proud of it. So yeah, there's that level of playfulness that has come back into my world, which has been beautiful.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I love that our children can teach us so much about that, can't they? That level of being in the moment and enjoying the play that's right in front of you. And think about that. Children are not looking at the play that they're doing, whatever's in front of them, as the play. This is the play. It needs to be great. No, because you know what? There's another play that's going to happen in 10 minutes. And then there'll be another one. And then we'll go and play something else. And then we go and play this. But for us, what we do sometimes as adults is just we take it so seriously. This is the thing. I am doing this, and this is so important to me. And if I don't do this right, then it determines my future. But children don't do that, do they? They go, this is just a play, and I'm going to have some fun and go and have another play. And then I'm going to go and paint, and then I'm going to go and do this, right? And there's something about that flow that, if we take things less seriously, it would just be more fun, because at the end of the day, this isn't the be all and end all of what I'm doing. This is just another step towards me creating lots of amazing fun things or fun ways to help people.
Yeah, so true. And there's been also a level of detachment that I've experienced as well, where I was getting bogged down with a few things for the business, and so level of detaching myself from the outcome, detaching myself of being wrong, something I'm still constantly working at, but yeah. So, but journaling and meditating is really helping at the moment too.
And it's great. I mean, you've created your first book, right? It's your first one, is it? Or you've done one before? No, it's your first one.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Yeah. You're creating a program from it. And sometimes it's like that creates the foundation for something, and then we move through. Sometimes people create 3, 4, or 5 books, and then it grows from like amounts of books, like many books or many productions of things. It's not, sometimes it's just not the one. It is what you said. It's the mission that we have underneath it all, of why we do what we do. It's that drive underneath that we come back to and go, hey, this is what I do. This is how I want to live. This is how I want to show up. And here's a book to help with that. And here's a program. And then here's this. And here's that. And it's not about creating something fast, but creating something over a decade or more.
And that's so true. And I feel like there's this level of, I want to kind of get it done now and straight away, and put it out there, where I'm getting caught up in time frames. So I had this expectation to launch in November, but now it's in February. I mean, it's a few months, but it's kind of, it plays on your mind a lot.
Yeah, because it's different, isn't it? Because like you say, you're a high achiever. You're used to producing something, working towards a time frame.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it's different. Like when we're in control of all the different pieces, you're creating something that's a little bit different, maybe from what you've done before, and it comes from you. It's not a job that you're doing. It's your job, it's your creation. It's a different energy sometimes to trying to win an award in a school or something like that, right? It's a different energy.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, sorry, going back to your comment about it's, you know, it could take you a decade. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's like, I see it, the business, you know, moving through slowly together, like side by side with it, and letting it evolve and flow the way that it needs to allow me to go through my journey and for me to share that along the way. So yeah. I keep reminding myself that.
Yeah. Oh, we need to, don't we? Because it's you know, as a high achiever, we're normally we're used to taking action and making things happen. And you know, I don't know about you, but I'm guessing you're a manifestor that can create a lot of things at a really short period of time. Is that?
Yes. Yeah. My design's a manifestor.
Yeah. So, you know, you can make things happen like this, and sometimes they do.
Yes.
For better or for worse sometimes, right? Because you go, oh,
yeah, that's right.
How did I end up here?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, it's awesome, but it also has its pitfalls and challenges. Being able to create something out of nothing, you know.
Yeah,
like something that looks like magic to other people, but for you, I'm guessing it's how you show up. It's what happens. It's who you are.
Yeah, definitely.
So you said something about fear, like you're having, you know, you said you actually started to talk about, you know, the fear of showing up, the fear of showing who I am. Or the fear to be seen. I think you said those words.
Fear to be seen. Yeah.
I'm curious if you're really feeling to that. You know, everyone's afraid to be seen a little bit. I mean, we all have a level of that. But I'm curious how big it is, really, or if it's, you know, how big does it actually feel, that fear of being seen?
It's funny when you say that. Like, I know there's an element that says I'm okay with it, but there's an element that's like pulling me back. It's like I feel like I'm kind of standing there with all these kind of layers that I've had to like peel off and step again, peel off and step again, peel off and step again. So when I say I'm afraid to be seen, I feel like it's been part of my personal journey to be able to move through a lot of things first to be able to be seen. But I know I can do it. I just need to take the steps to get there.
Yeah, right. Because that's the feeling I get from you, which is kind of I mean, that's courage, isn't it? Really?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because that is courage. There's a quote from somebody, I do not know who, that says, courage is fear walking.
And that's it. It's taking that step into the unknown and breaking it down and taking that step into the unknown and just gently, like, I want to say pushing out. It's not pushing. It's like squeezing out like my comfort zone slowly, just so my human can catch up. Whereas I feel like my human's here, but my spiritual part of me is up here, and I know I've just got to get my human body to kind of catch up to it.
Yeah, exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Because if you're talking to a fellow high achiever, I totally get it. Because what you need to do is, even studies actually show that we only need to push ourselves an extra 4% in order to get into a flow state. And that's what a lot of high achievers, it's what trips a lot of high achievers up, I should say, because what we do is we tend to push ourselves 10, 15, 20% outside of our comfort zone. And that's what causes burnout or extra anxiety and stress and discomfort. And, you know, I'm well known to have been jumping out of airplanes without parachutes. You know, I just, I'll land on my feet. And sometimes you don't, you fall flat on your face because push yourself just too far, and it actually shows not to be very beneficial. So you're right, it is that 4%, it's that gap in between, and it's not bigger than this, like you did it with your hands. It's not bigger than that. It's not taking massive leaps. It really is about just pushing ourselves just outside that comfort zone, outside that boundary of ourselves. Which also means that we have to be in our comfort zone sometimes and feel bored, and it's, as a high achiever, it can actually be quite uncomfortable being in our comfort zone, because we'll go, I'm not doing anything, like where I need to do stuff and something needs to happen, or I need to be in active mode. I don't feel like I'm progressing enough. I feel like I'm procrastinating. Well, that's because you're in that 4%. It's not that much, so we've got to sometimes end up in our comfort zone as well, and recover was where we use that space.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I've been noticing. A lot of my body most of the time has been wanting to rest, and I've been tapping into my body. I'm like, I just want to keep going and work through. But there's a part of me that's saying, no, you need to go for a walk outside. You need to just take some time and just spend the afternoon just resting and doing what you enjoy. Like I paint as well, so getting the paintbrushes out and sitting in there, and that's when a lot of ideas and things come through. But that comfort zone is nice to be in, but I know that I can do more as well. So I feel like there's a level of me.
So it's interesting with this doing, because for high achievers, it's very much about doing. And what we often say with doing or mean is that doing is something that we can physically see a result from. So we do this, and then this is the result I'll get. But you said something really important. You said I paint as well. So I just bring up my paintbrush, and in there I get lots of ideas and lots of thoughts, and look, that is your recovery, but it's the real place of doing also.
Yes,
that's where you do this. You're doing, you're dreaming, you're visualizing, you're creating. And without that space of creating and visualizing, the doing becomes hard work sometimes, because we keep pushing all the time. So that doing of being is really important, because that's kind of, in a roundabout way, how you actually create anything. It comes from the idea in our head. Sometimes we just take that for granted, and we just want to push because we know what we want, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make it happen. But we got to remember, it comes from your creation, and that started with an idea or a dream in your head.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. And that is still doing it, but it's doing in a different. So sorry, did you say being?
Yeah, well, you're still doing in a way. You're doing by exactly. It's a different kind of doing. It's literally, sitting in your favorite chair, leaning backwards and allowing yourself to have dream time for hours throughout the week. Most people would think that is ridiculous, stupid. You should be grafting and working hard and all that. And I'm all for working, but this is working too. This is just a different form of working. And that's what you actually really get paid for.
Yeah.
In the end.
Cool. Oh, that's good to know, because you're right, because my husband, he's such a high achiever as well. So when I'm painting or playing the piano or doing things like that, I feel like I'm not putting enough effort into the business that I should be. So yeah, cool. It's a wonderful perspective to have. Thank you.
So instead of kind of going, I've got a bit of time to create, maybe that's something that you want to add more into your life. I would actually encourage you to sit down and think about the things that you have created or made happen, the things you have done from thoughts in your head, from ideas in your head. I would sit down, if I were you, and just kind of go, the book would be a great place to start, right? That's something that came from probably an idea in your head.
Yeah. And that just came through within 3 months, like of just, sitting down with a goal to write one sentence, and within 3 months it was all on paper. So you're right. Yeah.
And yes, it was created because you set goals, but those things would have never been created unless you'd had the idea.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah.
The ideas is what makes you money. It's what actually makes things happen.
Yes.
Not the physical reality. Because when we focus on the physical reality, we get caught up in that, and we actually don't get any new ideas, or there's less of new ideas. Because they don't.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And I think creativity, just having that opportunity and space to create, it's also therapeutic in itself, in the way that I can just sit there and zone out and just let things flow. So yeah. It's good.
So what would it feel like to allow yourself more time to create?
I think it would be so fun. It'd be awesome. And I feel like I've also got this image of my calendar and just having these little blocks out in my calendar for, creative time.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, as a high achiever, it needs to make sense to us, right? It's not like, oh yeah, I'm just going to map out this time to create that. Yeah, that sounds nice, but we're not going to do that if there wasn't a purpose for it. But when we sit down and actually realize that pretty much everything that we've ever created into a physical product or a physical experience comes from a thought or a dream that I had. Yeah. And I just made that into reality. Then we start seeing, actually, it's damn important that I give myself this time.
Yeah. Definitely. And giving myself that permission to be able to do it, I think is a key element. Yeah, I love it. I like the idea. It's definitely something I want to explore and do more of.
You could take your book out, take your journal with you on a walk, and go and sit in the forest for 2 hours. I don't know, whatever you like.
Yes.
But mapping out time where you just that's your, I mean, you can call it whatever you want on the calendar. You can call it something super swanky, so it sounds really professional and business, white collar. Yeah. But
and actually, you're just sitting under a tree with your bit of pen and paper. But that's right.
Yeah. Hell yes, because that's where you get paid for this. That's what you get paid for. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. So awesome. That's the value, that's the true value, that's you, and that's Tara. That's nobody else. It's you. It's who you are. It's your creation. You bring that into your courses and the next book and the one after that and everything else, and your mission and your purpose. That's what people come to you for. It's the Tara stuff. It's not about whether it's right or wrong. It's the fact that it's you.
Yes, that's so true. Thank you.
So what's your insight so far?
It's nice just to have a different perspective on where I've been sitting mentally, and knowing that there's elements that I can really tap into, like my creative part of me, and knowing that if I'm connected to my purpose at all times, that it doesn't matter what I put out there, I'm doing it from a place of goodness and lightness and freshness. That's and I'll attract the right people that come, certain people into my world, so that I can help. I don't feel like I'll be attracting the people that I can't help. So yeah,
those people will come to you. They're drawn to you.
Yes.
And whether they'll have the experience that they imagined or not, it's got very little to do with us. you know.
Yeah.
It's you can only be you can only do you do Tara, and they do themselves, and you know, the more you are in that way, the more powerful you'll be able to hold that space for them to hopefully become them as well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. I think I needed to, it was nice just to get that out on the table and to hear your perspective on it.
How are you feeling?
Really good. Really good. I feel like this level of fresh energy has just kind of hit me, which is nice, which is something I needed to work through. So thank you.
That's okay. Beautiful. All right, we'll cut there.
Sure.
Cut.
That was really good. Thank you. That was awesome.
Sure. Yeah. Did you feel okay? I mean, I know it's different being kind of, you know, sometimes you might start thinking about
I didn't even notice with the recording or anything like that. No. And I didn't even know what I was going to say until I said it. So there you go.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. No, I'm glad. I mean, it felt totally natural and normal to me, like we've already spoken anyway, but you know, it's what goes on inside is normal. It's sometimes not what you see either. So I just wanted to check.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully that can help some people if they watch it. So,
oh, well, look, I think a lot of people will be struggling with feeling insecure and you know, wanting to be perfect. I think that's been the big thing that's came out, right? That idea of working with our own perfectionism and how that can stop us. And
definitely. Yes. Yeah, perfectionism and vulnerability, putting yourself out there. Because I think as a counsellor, you're like, yes, the person is being vulnerable, but as a counsellor, you're even more vulnerable.
Yeah.
So
of course. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a good counsellor needs to be, don't they? You know, that's the whole thing. Otherwise, you know, we won't be able to do our job properly. So beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
See you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.